You ever have one of those moments where you look back and think, that was the day everything changed? Yeah, that's how it started for us. Except our catalyst came wrapped in a blinding pink pantsuit, barking threats at my wife on the front porch like she was auditioning for a role as the Wicked Witch of the suburbs. You've got 30 days to pack up and get out before I have the sheriff drag you out myself. That's what she said loud enough for the whole street to hear. The air was thick with her perfume and something else pure, undiluted hate. Now, my wife, she's not the kind to flinch. I watched her stand there, arms crossed, cool as ice, not giving that woman an inch. She's faced down bigger monsters than some HOA tyrant in a Barbie suit. But that day she let Brenda, that's her name, Brenda, run her mouth wave around a piece of paper like it was gospel and stick an eviction notice in our door. It was so amateur, I half expected it to be written in crayon. I'm in the garage working on my bike and I hear the commotion. At first I think someone's TV is up too loud, but then I catch the tone and the words, and I know this is real. Brenda's out there laying down the law, acting like she owns the block. "You're a renter," she spits. "I talked to the owner. People like you bring down property values." Yeah, she actually said that, the kind of line that stings long after the sound fades. My wife didn't rise to it, just let Brenda tire herself out, then asks, real calm, "And who exactly is the owner you spoke to?" Brenda blusters. "Doesn't matter. He wants you out. This notice is legally binding." She jams that paper in the screen door and stomps away, trailing self-importance like cheap perfume. I'm about ready to march out and read Brenda the riot act, but one look from my wife tells me, wait. Let her play her little game. So we do. We watch her cross the street to her house, the one with the overlarge American flag she probably fined her neighbor over. Inside, my wife lays out the notice, smoothing it like she's handling evidence. That's Brenda Head of Oak Creek Estates HOA, and apparently defender of suburban purity, she says, filling a glass of water like it's any old Tuesday. I'm boiling, but she's cool, says, she didn't talk to any owner. She assumes we're renters, and you know why. Yeah, I know why. My wife is a black woman, a civil rights attorney who owns the house. Actually, she owns half the street through trusts. Brenda couldn't even spell, much less understand. But we let Brenda believe her own fiction. That's how you catch a crook, let them write their own confession, one petty act at a time. So for weeks, Brenda becomes our personal paparazzi. Fines for trash cans 6 inches off the curb. Evidence photos of a few blades of grass daring to hit 3 inches. Wet newspapers, misplaced packages, every nuisance you can imagine, she serves up with a sneer. We install cameras. Catch her on video shuffling across our driveway in a robe, moving our paper into a puddle, intercepting our deliveries with a sugary, "Just leave it at the curb, they're never home." We document everything, every paper, every insult, every decibel from the sonic pest repeller she aims over the fence at our dinner table. That's right, she bought a machine just to annoy us. But here's the kicker, she's sloppy. Always is with people who think they're untouchable. We start to see the cracks, neighbors avoiding her gaze. "Quick, keep your head down," advice from Arthur, the old gardener. Turns out Brenda's been running her petty dictatorship for 20 years, driving out anyone who stands up to her. Like the Rodriguez family. They left because their kid's swing set was the wrong color. One afternoon, Maria Garcia shows up at our door clutching a $500 fine for her toddler's sandbox. Brenda's threatening to have them evicted if they don't pay and remove it, never mind that Maria's pregnant and their landlord is Brenda's old buddy. My wife reads the letter face hard as stone and tells Maria not to pay, not to move the sandbox, not to respond. "I'll handle it," she says. And for the first time, Maria breathes. "Brenda's a bully, but you're not alone," my wife promises. It becomes a turning point. Maria's fight becomes ours. My wife drafts a cease and desist letter that reads like a legal thunderstorm warning Brenda and the landlord that retaliation will bring the full weight of the law. Suddenly the Garcias aren't victims. They're the first of many allies. With a thickening folder of evidence and a rising tide of support, my wife moves from defense to offense. She requests the HOA's financial records legally required by the way and gets stonewalled. Brenda coughs up a one-page profit and loss sheet that wouldn't pass muster in a lemonade stand. My wife files complaints with the state attorney general and Fair Housing Board and starts digging into the HOA's contracts. That's when she uncovers the real rot, $80,000 a year for landscaping going to Miller's Lawn and Garden, owned by the board's vice president. And guess who owns half the company? Brenda, via her late husband. Money's been funneled straight into her pocket for years. Brenda, panicked, sends a lien notice from a strip mall lawyer threatening to take our house over made-up fines. My wife laughs. She's just handed me the keys to the kingdom. She files a lawsuit so devastating it makes Brenda's head spin. Harassment, embezzlement, fair housing violations, civil RICO, the works. Names them all personally so they can't hide behind insurance. Suddenly, Brenda's own board turns on her. Susan, the treasurer, shows up at our door, shaking, dropping off a folder of real bank statements. Just leave me out of the RICO, she begs. Miller confesses the kickback scheme in a sworn affidavit. Brenda is left alone, staring down a lawsuit, the state attorney general, and a neighborhood ready to revolt. Then comes the big showdown, an emergency HOA meeting packed with angry neighbors. My wife lays out the evidence, the fake eviction, the fines, the money trail, the Garcia sandbox. She explains how Brenda weaponized fear and bylaws for her own gain, all while breaking the law. The room shifts. One by one, people stand up. She forced me to cut down a 100-year-old tree. She made my kids cry over sidewalk chalk. The Rodriguez family even returns to share their story. By the end, the vote isn't even close. Unanimous. Brenda is removed on the spot. You'd think it would end there, but Brenda tries to escalate files, more threats, more rants, sends an email calling us agitators. But nobody's scared anymore. The news picks up the story: racism, embezzlement, a community fighting back. Brenda's on camera melting down in her driveway, confirming every ugly thing said about her. The final nail. The DA shows up at her house and she's led out in cuffs, bathrobe and all. The trial is quick evidence so overwhelming the jury's out less than 2 hours. Brenda gets 5 years. Her house is foreclosed, her power erased. But something even better happens. The community she tried to divide comes together. Mr. Garcia, once the scared renter, is elected HOA president. Arthur the gardener is VP. My wife helps them rewrite the bylaws term limits, transparent contracts, fair dispute process. The neighborhood comes alive. Kids play in Maria's sandbox, block parties, replace secret whispers, and nobody's measuring the grass. We use our lawsuit settlement to start the Sycamore Project, helping others fight HOA bullies. Our story goes viral, gets turned into a TV show, The Pink Suit. My wife becomes a local legend, a source of wisdom, not just for our street, but for people across the state. Years pass. Oak Creek thrives. Brenda fades into memory, a cautionary tale in an orange jumpsuit picking up trash. But here's the real ending. What she tried to destroy became stronger. The neighborhood she thought she owned is now a place where everyone, every family, every background, every story belongs. You tell me, is that justice? Is that enough? Or is it just a new beginning? Drop a comment below. What would you have done in our shoes? Where's the line between defending your home and fighting for a community? Let's hear your stories.